Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Podcast listeners, Al Martin here. I appreciate you listening in to Making Data Simple. Today, as I jump in, I've got Tom McPherson. Tom has expertise in all things infrastructure, Z, power, you name it. He is currently the GM of IBM Power Systems as of this recording, but who knows where he goes in the future. It's long overdue that I've wanted to have Tom on this podcast because I want to talk about power. So Tom, I greatly appreciate you taking the time. I know you're extremely busy, but I got a ton of questions. They're all lined up for you, man. We're going to have a good chat today. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here, Al.
All right. So as tradition applies, I want to allow you to introduce yourself first. Just give us some history of where you've come from and what brings you to today.
Sure. I guess the way I open is I've had the privilege to be on a lot of great teams over my career in IBM. Started in Z in microprocessor design and had the opportunity to actually work on a few generations of microprocessors in Z, both technical and then from a management position. Then moved into system development on Z and was involved in releasing a few generations of Z systems there, EC12, Z13, Z14. Then after that, I moved to IBM Cloud and helped with leading compute services for IBM Cloud and virtual private cloud, building and releasing that. Then after that, came back to Z, went to Z Software for a year and a half and kind of worked in the rest of the stack with Z and compilers and middleware. Then about 3.5 years ago, moved to Power, did Power product management, and then moved into the general manager role in Power. And it's been real fun being in Power, privilege, honor to work with the team, and a lot of good adrenaline. So that's my short version of being on a lot of great teams.
Fantastic. Well, you started out in microprocessors, then pretty technical then, huh? What was your degree in, can I ask?
Yeah, I have undergrad in electrical engineering, master's in computer engineering. Fantastic.
I'm an electrical engineer as well. So we got that going for us. Out of all those positions, dare I ask, I'm sure it's like your kids, but what has been your favorite position?
Oh, it's always my current one is the way I'm feeling. But the way I take experience from all of them and kind of, build it up over the years. So there's like things I love about certain roles, and then I get to apply that to the next one. I guess what I like the most is being on great teams, working on things that matter for our clients, and working with a lot of people that are among the best in the world at their crafts, which we're lucky to have in IBM. And I'm sure, a lot of companies have that in the tech industry that we're in, but that makes it fun.
Totally makes sense. Is there a profound learning, like you mentioned learning, is there something that you could share with the audience here, something that you've learned that's over your career?
Yeah, where I guess I'd go to a leadership discussion. So one nugget that I think of over time and learned over time with leadership is people are the most enabled, can move the fastest, the most motivated when they have autonomy, right? So when you think of leadership and you think of leadership styles of you could lead with task or you can lead with context. And there's a degree in between them that you're always dialing, but leading with more context and giving context to the team, which enables the team and the people on the team to have autonomy. And that just creates like a better fast loop. It increases followership. Followership gives you better results. I mean, it all comes down to, if you look at the tech industry, we all have talented teams. There's a lot of great talent at a lot of companies. So then you kind of have to differentiate with culture. Once you have the base talent, you say your secret weapon is to differentiate in culture. That quickly turns into picking the right people on your team that are level 5 leaders that think about the team mission before their own ambitions. It leads to leading with context and making sure the team feels that they can move with speed. So that's kind of the learnings I've pieced together over my last few roles. And culture is way more important than most people think. So,
look, I love that. Those are two of the things I believe in as well. One is vision with context. You got to have both. And secondly, I always preach autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Or that's the three-legged stool that everybody wants in their role. They want empowerment. They want to be great at something in terms of skill, and they want to have meaning every day. And I think if you can give them those three things, then things work out. All right, before I jump into power, I did go out there. I was looking at your LinkedIn, and I see you have a picture of you climbing something there. Are you a climber?
I used to rock climb, but that picture is actually me in a triathlon, an adventure triathlon that happens to be near my house. So I do a lot of triathlon training now.
Oh, nice.
And where I live in the Hudson Valley, New York, there's a triathlon called the Survival of the Schwangunks Triathlon, which is 8 stages. It's a bike stage. And then after that, it's 7 more stages with 4 runs and 3 swims. And that picture is me climbing out of Lake Mohonk, which is the last swim stage before running up a mountain to finish at the tower. So
nice.
Wow. Yeah.
That's impressive. You still doing that?
I am. I've done 7. I've done that triathlon for the last 7 years. And in fact, this past weekend, I was just running a boot camp for people that are coming to do the triathlon for the first time, because people come from around the country to do this triathlon, because if it's unique. It's not a regular half Ironman type triathlon. It's divided up into a lot of different adventure stages. So still doing it, and definitely keeps me in balance. And in both of our jobs, endurance is key. So that's helps me with my endurance.
No, look, I get it. Now I'm intrigued, though. I got to ask one more. So you must train for this, right? How do you train for all the different events? Do you like split your days up, or there's got to be like a methodology around this?
It's always a constant, when you can divide up your workouts into biking, running, swimming, and within biking, there's gravel biking and road biking. And then you throw in like strength and yoga. So it's always every morning you're just like, okay, I'm going to do this today. And you have an hour to do it. So what are you putting together? What are you doing for that hour? And then on the weekends, of course, you could stretch it into 3, 4, 5 hour stretches as needed. And, I wouldn't say I'm like super disciplined, like planning my weeks out in training, but I just like to do a lot of different things.
Look, you got to be pretty disciplined. You're an hour every day, whether you need it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I need it mentally, but yeah, it's an hour. Yeah, most days I do an hour. Yeah.
See, me, I make sure I do 30 minutes. I try to hit 45, and I do like an hour or something on the weekends, but it sounds like you got an hour every day. Now I feel like I'm an underachiever. I've got to step it up already. All right, fantastic. Yeah, that's good. 5 a.m., is that what you do it or something?
Usually 6 a.m., but that's only in the summer. I'm talking now from the perspective of what I'm in now. And then after September, it dials down and then picks up again in January, February. I mean, it's cyclical through the seasons, but I'm in the middle of it now for sure.
That's awesome. All right. Without further ado, let's jump into a little power. This is a big year for power, I believe. If you wouldn't mind, I think what I'd like to start with is, can you give the elevator pitch for IBM Power in 2025? I'm excited about this.
Sure. So just stepping back at the infrastructure level, you look at IBM's AI and hybrid cloud strategy, and one of the pillars in that strategy is innovation in infrastructure. And within infrastructure, we have our enduring platforms, IBM Z, Power, and storage. And when you dial into IBM Power, it's a family of systems, high performance processors and servers designed for reliability, availability, and scalability for enterprise workloads. So Power is a trusted infrastructure for workloads like core banking and payments, SAP and ERP, apps in retail and manufacturing, IBM I and AIX custom apps, databases like Oracle, DB2, DB2i. And there's tens of thousands of clients around the world on Power. And one of the things I noticed when I came into Power 3 years ago was the level of trust and passion for the platform that our customers have and our business partners have is like really next level. It's the highest I've seen. And you talk about stories, like you see within IBM I, there's tens of thousands of clients alone that run small, medium business using IBM I, which derived from the AS400, the most loved, one of the most loved platforms, and it's still most loved, all the way up to large banks running IBM I. So there's literally clients that have tattoos that will show you. They'll show you their tattoos on their arm for like.
They're committed, right?
And they got the AS400 tattoo. And when I saw that the first time, I'm like, wow, that was interesting. And then you go further. And the customers will name LPARs named after family members or treated like family members. So they're talking about an LPAR and they're talking about it like it's a member of the family, but it's literally it's a logical partition on a computing system that is associated at that level of like a member of the family. And you hear the word love used a lot. You hear stories from a perspective of, this platform helped me support my family. So that is really interesting when you see the passion and, I guess that happens in other enduring platforms, but it really is amazing to see that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you got Power 11 coming out. Already out.
We announced Power 11. So we have really big deliveries in the past few weeks. So when you think about the differentiation we have in Power, like one of the key advantages is we can do full stack hardware, software, co-design, and we focus on co-creating with our clients to guide our roadmap. So when you have an enduring platform with, really trusted platform, good incumbency with customers, and we develop the full stack from custom silicon, firmware, hypervisor, operating system, cloud services, and we actually run cloud services and with Power Virtual Server on IBM Cloud, it sets us up where we can work with customers, co-create on what they think is the most important. And the way we think about, okay, how are we delivering the next generation system? How do we derive our roadmap? We take an approach where we say we want to deliver capabilities that meet customers' current needs in business and where they're going in the future. So we provide the flexibility with as-a-service deployments. We have integrated AI acceleration in Power 11 that I'll talk about. We enable hybrid cloud and containerization workloads with Red Hat OpenShift. We allow clients to modernize their SAP environments with SAP Rise. And all these capabilities are where we can deliver differentiated value and kind of be the best in the world in these segments and deliver for our clients. So that, so we really focus in those areas. On July 8th, so let me play like what's happened in the past few weeks, but I want to pause and hear your reaction or follow up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my first reaction is, look, I've seen how well Power is doing. Mm-hmm. And so the tattoos don't necessarily surprise me, believe it or not. If you've lived in the environment, amazingly enough, I'm sure our listeners are going, what the hell are they talking about? But look, it happens. It happens. Let me ask you this. And so I got questions on Power 11 as well. But before I get there, who is IBM Power for? And I guess who isn't it for?
So it's for enterprise clients that are running, leveraging the core value of Power in reliability, performance, availability, resiliency, high security, and mission critical workloads. So that's really where we focus, is enabling enterprise customers. Think Fortune 500, think, that area, which is where IBM usually differentiates in.
Who is it not for? Is there a cohort that, hey, this really isn't for that persona or isn't for that smaller business or whatever? Is it not for someone? You usually have a target market and then you've got another market that, is not where you're going after.
Yeah, I would say one example would be Power has a heritage where in the past it was into high performance computing environments and things like that. And that's an area where we've pivoted away from and more towards just focused on our enterprise client base. So that would be an example of where we've steered away from. It's not for doing giant training of AI models like NVIDIA does or the large GPU farms. So it's not a training platform. It's more of an inference acceleration platform. So that's another example of differentiating what it is and isn't.
Is there a most common misconception about Power that comes to mind? What's the most common misconception?
I would say the most common misperception of there's not a lot of customers. You get in and you see the pervasiveness of this, and it's global, right? It's like in 159 countries, and it's an enduring platform for decades. IBM I just celebrated its 36th anniversary, I think, this year. Mm-hmm. So it's an enduring platform with a lot of clients. And another perception might be that it's somehow old technology. This is cutting edge technology that's new in a lot of areas. And with us being able to innovate in the whole technology stack, we can keep innovating and drive the innovation aligned with where our clients want to go.
What's your most favorite feature of Power 11 that just came out?
I would say the the zero plan downtime, right, is my current. There's three favorites, but
That's all right. Go with three then. Let's hear it.
So the way I think about P11, actually, before I talk about P11, I want to compare notes, you and I, and what we're seeing in the market from clients, because it kind of informs where we went with Power 11. So what I'm seeing in the market now, and you read a lot of the reports, and some of this was listed at IBM Think, but there's a billion new applications expected by 2028. And that's driven by AI, and AI is it's an add on top of what everybody's doing today. It's not an or. And you look at the client's challenges of keeping their critical systems continually running with high business resiliency and no downtime, and all the complexity they're dealing with in their own silos in their company, and managing their data in security and compliance, and optimizing cost and managing their own skills. It makes the environment so challenging for clients, and they have to build AI out on top of that. So that backdrop is what I'm seeing in the market, and we leverage that to inform P11. But what are you seeing when you look at across clients and their challenging areas?
Look, I think everybody's trying to get into the AI space one way or another. And most of the offerings that are out there today, I won't name them because I don't want to disparage any of them, but some of the competitive offerings are just like introductory type of offerings where you check the box. Clients that I'm dealing with tend to be the enterprise clients, as you mentioned, and they want to do true AI. And they need everything you're talking about: resiliency, security, high availability. They can't have one of the five or whatever, one of the many. They got to have every one of those to be able to put that in production. So I think that's where Power comes in and fits. And I think that's why over the last, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, even with the advent of Gen AI, Power has had such a good run, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That's what I see. That's what I hear. What about you?
Yeah, that resonates. And one of the main things we heard from clients in co-creating in Power 11 is they asked us to focus on that. They wanted the things they always get from Power: better performance, better security, all the scalability improvements, and to continue their cost performance improvements over time. And that's kind of in our DNA. We always deliver that with the next generation systems. But they asked us to double down on business continuity for Power 11. And the way we think about business continuity, it's kind of in three pillars. We have the unplanned downtime, which we're really good at just by designing the reliability into our servers, a lot of redundancy, and we just have decades of experience on that. And we've gotten to 6 nines of availability, which is something like 30 seconds per year of unplanned downtime. So, we've solved for the unplanned downtime, and it's been part of our system roadmap. The thing we focused on this time was the other two pillars of business continuity, which is planned downtime and cyber incidents. So we focused on zeroing out the planned downtime. And what do I mean by that? We have a feature in Power 11 called Zero Planned Downtime, where we've actually automated the updates, patching, and rolling upgrades. We've now fully automated, so the application can continue to run while this is automated in the background with a human in the middle for a decision maker, right? So clients can look at this as it's a benefit in automation that's meeting them where they are. If they want to take the full automation and have it be autonomous with them making a decision on the end of whether to apply the patch or not, they could do that. If they want to have partial automation, they could do that. So we're just getting into the next level automation capabilities on Power, and we used it in Power 11 to eliminate planned downtime, which I think is a pretty cool feature. Then the other big feature we've done is we put in Power Cyber Vault, which is a solution with IBM Power, IBM Storage, and Expert Labs, where we guarantee to detect ransomware in less than 1 minute on your system. And then when an incident does occur, we can recover in minutes to mitigate any financial impact to your business or downtime to your business. So that's where in Power 11, we focused on the other two pillars of continuity: planned downtime, we zeroed out, and cyber incidents. We have guaranteed ransomware detection of less than 1 minute. using AI infused capabilities from IBM storage and immutable copies that are automatically taken. And that's a really cool feature also.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be my favorite feature. You got a few here to choose from, so pick your poison. In terms of cyber, 1 minute, given what we're seeing in the industry right now and the risks, that's kind of amazing, right? And is it all around the immutable copies? Is that what we're talking here?
It's a combination of the automated immutable copies, but then the actual detection of the ransomware without having too much of a, it's dialing the false detection. You don't want that to be too much because that would really be disruptive. So it's just optimizing the detection of ransomware. And there's technology within our IBM storage systems with the flash copy module that the team has built into storage that we leverage to help this detection. And it is leadership in the industry.
I always worry, though, I got to ask you this, that I get it. It has detection in 1 minute. But if individuals or experts in the middle, as you mentioned, aren't paying attention, what happens if they're not paying attention and they wait too long? Are they still in trouble, or they got other course of action? So let's say they wait 5 hours before they notice anything.
Well, I think the detection automation, it sets it up right away to kind of have the known good copy protected. But there is an element on the recovery side of, each client, the clients at the level where they need this capability, they tend to have some custom solutions already built, but our solution is really an accelerator and can recover them quicker. So that's where our expert labs teams comes in to kind of work with the client to set the automation up in the way that will benefit them the most. And that's, I think what I said is kind of the state of the industry now in this space. It's always moving, and we're always going to be advancing this capability. But we feel like we have something strong here that we're coming out with in P11.
So even if they didn't notice it for several hours, there's a backup that they could go back to that hasn't been compromised.
Yes.
I love it. Can you talk to the evolving support around AI, Gen AI workloads? Where's Power at today with that?
Yeah. So, what I see with AI when I meet with clients these days is they want to move from, kind of the promise of AI to the profits of AI. And IBM has a really good story in this space, taking out $3.5 billion, as us being client zero for AI, using automation and AI. So I think we're on strong footing from an IBM perspective of showing we know how to do this, and that's resonating in the market. So then you see what clients are faced with in this space. I think the one thing they think about is cost. They need to scale AI out to all of their employees and to their customers. So whatever you come up with in AI, you better be addressing cost. There's data obligations in terms of how to protect your client's data, sensitive information, IP, that we have to keep in mind when we're providing AI capabilities to clients. There's AI integration of bringing AI into the heart of the enterprise and not having some brand new stack that has to get built up in a different part of your data center, but actually integrating it with the mission critical applications, which is right up our alley in Power NZ. And then you have like scattered applications and data all over in the client environment. So you better be able to have data fabric capabilities that let the data on IBM Power, for example, participate in an end-to-end AI workflow. So when you wrap all that together, we see we're bringing AI to Power 11 in a few areas. First, at the infrastructure level, we're delivering AI acceleration for inference acceleration. There's a matrix math accelerator on the Power 11 processor, and then we're going to have the IBM Spire accelerator available in the fourth quarter of this year for preview, and that's a PCIe connected low power accelerator has good inferencing performance. So that's like the base level. We're delivering AI acceleration. Then we have OpenShift from Red Hat as part of our AI acceleration. So OpenShift AI brings a lot of open source capabilities and the libraries around it to the platform. We also have a Python ecosystem on IBM Power. So that gives like the frameworks of the ecosystem that runs on Power 11, and we're seeing good adoption in that space. Then you kind of move up the level where having data fabric capabilities with IBM Data Stage and watsonx.data, which is becoming available on IBM Power by the end of this year, to let the enterprise data on Power participate in an end-to-end AI workflow for the client. And then we deliver productivity for the client. So we have a Watson X code assistant starting with IBM I that can help developers of all experience levels modernize their IBM I applications faster. We have a proof point with an early user client of this where they've seen an 18x increase in developer productivity with the AI powered code assistant that's in preview now. So we're really excited about that. And then outside of all those areas, we're working with our ecosystem partners to let them also participate and exploit the AI capabilities on the platform. So we really are focused in on simple integration for AI and getting to profitable AI for our clients is the way I would say it.
Makes sense. Hey, IBM also preaches hybrid cloud. And from that standpoint, how does IBM Power support hybrid cloud strategies?
Yeah, so we have unique capabilities in this area also. We have Power Virtual Server, which is an as-a-service offering in IBM Cloud. But what's unique about it is it's not designed as like a containerized cloud-native offering that you have to modernize into. It's designed with a consistent architecture to how clients run Power on-prem. So we like to say that Power VS provides consistency, not complexity. So clients can look at Power Virtual Server as an and to their Power estate, whether they want to leverage it for dev test or they want to leverage it to drive currency on the platform where they're testing new applications that are ahead of what they're running on-prem, and they use that to drive currency. Power Virtual Server is also certified with SAP RISE as a hyperscaler, which is the SAP path to modernization for HANA environments. So we're really excited in this space, and we're seeing a lot of growth on Power Virtual Server. And I would say the growth we're seeing is clients expanding their Power estate into Power Virtual Server and not necessarily any migration motions. So we feel good in this space, and it allows good hybrid cloud capabilities. And the other cool thing we have on Power Virtual Server is we have a private deployment that's actually deployed at the location of your choice with a cloud as a service model that's managed by IBM.
Is that like a bring your own cloud managed service? Is that what we're talking about?
Think GreenLake or Dell Apex. It's similar, or Oracle Cloud at Customer, where we will deploy in the location of your choice. Could be in your data center, and clients will use it for sovereign capabilities to keep the data local. And we see big interest in sovereign capabilities now around the world. I'm sure you see that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who would you say, I guess, is your nearest competitor? And with that, how does Power differentiate itself?
Yeah, so I'll go down the SAP path for this one. So if you look at competitors in SAP in running and differentiated SAP workloads, there's the large hyperscalers which have SAP RISE capabilities in their clouds, but they don't have the on-prem capability also to go with it. So that is an example where we like to think we can meet clients where they are on their SAP modernization journey. If they want to run on-prem and have a little bit going into SAP RISE, we can support that. If they want to move right away to SAP RISE, we could support that. So I would say it's the continuum in the portfolio that allows us to differentiate. And then the fact that we co-create with the clients and let them steer the roadmap is something that we hear a lot of positive feedback on being a trusted partner.
Compelling use case. Anything come to mind on a client use case that you'd like to share with the community here? Something that's interesting, something that's really above and beyond that got you going?
We're seeing some good use cases in Power Virtual Server where we have customers that when they would open a new store and when they had to do it all on-prem with IBM I, for example, it could take 2 to 3 weeks of effort to set up and set up the IT for opening a new store. Now it's literally like hours they can deploy in Power VS and be set up. So that's a compelling use case, like the speed up that's happening because of the flexible deployment of the Power capabilities, all the way up to a good client story recently was Pfizer switching over their S/4HANA environment and doing that on Power 10 based servers and minimizing the downtime and having it really keep running their mission critical workloads and switch over the whole S4 HANA migration to IBM Power. And obviously with Pfizer, you talk about an important company in healthcare and helping people around the world. That's a great use case.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me switch to the future here a little bit. What's the long-term vision for Power? Or maybe I'd say it this way. What advice would you give a CTO considering new infrastructure over the next 12 to 18 months?
Well, for new infrastructure, I would say whatever you're deploying, it better meet the needs of all the, better help your business, I would say, in a few areas. Most clients are looking to grow, comply, and save. So whatever you're considering, it better enable growth in your business. It better enable your security and compliance progression, whatever form that takes, whether it's quantum safe security or sovereign and data locality compliance and security. And then it better enable you to save money and get a total cost of ownership improvement when you deploy that new infrastructure. So that's one piece of advice. The other one is, we know that hybrid cloud is kind of the default now in the industry, and IBM was ahead of the curve on that. There's a difference when you see customers that hybrid cloud kind of happened to them versus the intentional hybrid cloud design. And you just see the clients that do it intentionally and have it in their design point of the fit for purpose computing in different parts of their hybrid cloud and flexible deployment. They tend to be moving faster and are set up better for taking advantage of AI than the clients that are not intentional with hybrid cloud. That's another trend we see.
All right, I got a couple rapid fire, just some fun ones. What's a myth about Power you wish you could bust forever?
A myth that it's old technology, totally untrue, and a myth that there's a really low number of clients, totally untrue.
I think that's the competitors throwing FUD into the system. That's what I see. Most underrated feature of the platform?
Underrated, I'm going to go with Power Virtual Server, right? We're just getting started in this flexible deployment model consistent with the on-prem architecture. That is, when you think about the simplicity, we guarantee clients can onboard in 5 days. So that I think that hasn't been fully absorbed in the market yet. So that's one that I think is underrated.
When you say 5 days, what does quote unquote onboarding mean in that case?
That means that we will work with you. For example, when you buy a Power 11, it comes with Power Virtual Server included with an onboarding guarantee of 5 days, where you can deploy a Power Virtual Server and get started on your deployment of the infrastructure that's going to eventually come on-prem, and do it within 5 days.
You may have answered this question, so you'll have to tell me. A thing you wish more people knew about Power?
Yeah, I think we answered that one in the myths, but I could talk about, I could flip to the future roadmap too.
Yeah, let's do that.
One of the things we do in Power is we take the long view. We're always investing for the future. You need to have that when you're an enduring platform for decades and clients are counting on a regular cadence of deliveries. So we have a quarterly release roadmap that's more as a service and software oriented, where we're always bringing new capabilities every quarter in a pretty high velocity way that we co-create with clients on. But then we have our system innovation roadmap, which we deliver every 3 to 4 years. And we're already working on, we just released Power 11. We're working on the next generation Power system now. And that will also be another full stack optimization where we work closely with our clients and co-create around where we're going. And we're starting to look at concepts for the next one after that, which will be 6 years plus from now. So we're really taking the long view on this, and we always have innovation going, working with IBM Research and our customers.
Anything that we missed? Man, I appreciate all this. I've been kind of giving you, this whole thing's kind of been a little bit of a rapid fire, but we haven't had you on for Power, so it's been good to really get the lowdown. Anything that I missed that you wish I would have asked, or something that you want to make sure everybody knows?
Yeah, I do. I want to wrap with the importance of business partners in Power. So one of the things we pride ourselves on is teaming with business partners and kind of enabling them to have the opportunity to advanced with us in our capabilities. So whatever new capabilities that we bring out, and whether it's a next generation system or new capabilities on Power Virtual Server or SAP, we have the business partner in mind, because we think both of us together, IBM and the business partner, can bring more value to our clients. And I would say we're really good at it. We're good at teaming with business partners. And in some parts of the industry, you see companies retreating from partners and doing like all the value capture within their own company. We're more partner friendly, and it's a huge part of our strategy, and we think it helps us in terms of getting the word out on our platform and all the value it brings, and then working together with clients to drive the outcomes for their business.
Awesome. Hey, best place to reach you on LinkedIn? Is that
LinkedIn is
Tom
the
McPherson?
place. Yep.
And the best place to go to get more information on Power? Where would I go?
I'll send you the links for, but it's on the IBM website under IBM Power. It has all the new info on Power 11, SAP Rise, and all the capabilities we're driving.
Awesome. I'll put it in the show notes. All right. I just got a couple leadership questions for you. You've had a long career in leadership. What's your principles? What's your value system? What do you stand behind? When you define Tom McPherson's leadership style, what is it?
What I strive for, and this is like collective learning from all the mentors that I've learned from over the years, and I'm sure you and I have learned from some of the same great leaders in IBM. I think of it as try to be a good teammate. So I really work on teamship and being a good teammate. I think of listening and being able to listen with the intent to understand and not to respond. And probably the most important thing is getting to that level 5 leadership where you put the mission of the team first. And when you set that tone where the mission of the team is where the ambition is, and that's above any personal ambition of the leaders on a team, I think it helps you with a great culture and great teaming.
The definition of level 5, I like that. Where do you learn? Where do you go to learn? How do you learn?
I learn all the time, mostly from interactions with, not just like the senior vice presidents or other general managers, but learning from new team members that are coming in, learning from new hires, a lot of reverse mentoring stuff that I like to do, and then just a lot of reading, always reading the most current technology capabilities that are coming out. I read books on leadership and strategy, mostly Jim Collins books. The Geek Way recently is a book that I'm learning from around speed and openness as part of your culture. So I kind of mix it up, a lot of different learning vehicles.
Is there a favorite book that comes to mind? By the way, you can reserve the right to change your mind, but what book would you recommend to the audience that just comes to mind?
The one that I'm into now is, I would say, The Geek Way is one that I'm in the studying mode on right now. I switch around into a lot of different ones, and sometimes it's listening to podcasts, sometimes it's learning from internal experiences within IBM. I try to be in full learning mode and growth minded, and that's just something I've focused on over the years.
Where do you lose time? Meaning, like something that you get so involved with, that's just your recreation. Maybe it's the Iron Man that you were talking about earlier. But where do you lose time? Any hobbies that you lose time in?
Well, I lose time in my training in the mountains by my house, and I use the word training, but it's like enjoyment. I mean, it's not just running, biking, swimming, but it's a lot of hiking and walking with the family, and
Now, do you have an accountability partner that you do this with, or is it Tom by himself?
Sometimes I train with others we're all in the same community, but it's mostly me and Strava.
Are you the crazy one? Are you the one?
Me versus myself. But
that's the worst.
I'm not looking to set any records or anything. It's more like a train for completion rather than compete mindset. So it's really just the experience of doing all the different things.
Fantastic, man. You're the best. Thank you for coming and sharing your expertise on power, leadership, and everything in between. I greatly appreciate it, Tom.
Appreciate being here. Great catching up with you.
Yeah, certainly. Hey, listeners, thank you as well. Hit us on almartintalksdata@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We take notes. Please rate us where you're at. Until next time, we'll see you on the podcast. Bye-bye.